I want to show you some recent enhancements with Power BI and Business Central that Microsoft recently released. In every module in BC almost, it appears like they have really updated the Power BI reports. I think you're going to like them. We'll take a look at the purchasing reports first. So let's get started. You can launch Power BI from within Business Central. But what I like to do is I like to start with the powerbi.com website and use that. So we'll take a look at how you do it in BC, but then we'll also transfer over to Power BI so we can see it, what I think is a better display. So I'm logged into Business Central, and one of the best ways I think to access Power BI is through the All Reports area. If I go here, I can see all the reports in Business Central. I can easily tell which ones are Power BI reports. You can see those right here. So first, let's take a look at the purchase overview report. Right here from Business Central, I can launch this report. So these reports have similar functionality to Power BI reports from the past, but there's a lot more to them. The dashboards are bigger, they've got more information on them, they have different types of components in it. Here's a good example. This is the dashboard. I've got KPIs here at the top. I've got a simple graph here. I've got some other charts. And the same functionality that I've had in Power BI that I like to use to analyze this is I've got all my filters over here. I can easily filter to see what I want. But what I really like is that all the graphs are interactive on a dashboard. If I want to look at a particular graph and a particular component of that graph, I can just click on it. For example, let's click on office chair here. If I click on that, all the other graphs related to it adjust. So here I'm looking at the office chairs, and I can see the other graphs automatically respond to that selection, and I can see my location quantities right here. You can also see top purchase amounts right here. If I hover over that, I'm going to get additional information that I can use to analyze this. So this is a nice look at a purchasing overview report in regards to what kind of company you have. So whether you're purchasing inventory items or non-inventory items, they'll show up well in this particular report. Now I want to change the powerbi.com website. It's the same reports. I can connect it to my Business Central data. We'll be looking at sample data here. But what I like about it, it's a little cleaner and it's easier to get to those items that you want to look at. In Power BI, the reports for Business Central are all put together in apps. So if I click on the apps here, I show all the apps that I've got for Business Central. This is a workspace. I've got all these apps here. And what's important to know is that these apps are supplied by Microsoft for no charge. You do have to have a Power BI license to use them, but all the reports are already made. We'll take a look at those, and they can easily connect to Business Central data in your system so that you can use them right away. And it's easy to get these apps. All I need to do is go to Get Apps here. It'll show me all the apps that are available in Microsoft. I can select the ones that I want and download them to my workspace in Power BI. So let's go to the purchasing app here. In the purchasing app, this is the report that we were just looking at. It's an overview. But I've got these other apps too, these other reports that are inside the purchasing app. So let's take a look at some of those. This is the purchases decomposition report. This is a little different type of report, but what's nice about this is it allows you to analyze the data that's in the report and it's user oriented. So a user can go in here, they can put different filters. These are all the filters on the right-hand side here, but I can use this report easily and get more information about what I'm interested in. For example, on the decomposition report, I click on this item here. This is a document that has a lot of purchases on it. We can see what those purchases are right here. So what this decomposition report does is it takes the purchases amount and it breaks it down by document. I can also see it by fiscal year and fiscal month, and I can see the item category and the item number. So if you're going to use Power BI with Business Central data, make sure that you have the item category code set up to make it easy to get the reports that you want. And this is true throughout the system. So we may be looking at dimensions in the financial area or the customer area or the vendor area. You want to make sure that you use those properly for recording the data, but also make it easy to report from. Let's take a look at another report. This is purchases by item. I like this one. It has different types of components from Power BI. You can see the graphs here. This is another way to look at that data. These are the items. If I click on item here, it's going to change all the graphs related on this dashboard just to that particular item. I can drill down on here. So I can drill down in the report and get more information on this. So what's nice about this is even though the data comes from Business Central, if I'm a user, I don't have to connect to Business Central. So if I'm a user of Power BI, I've got the ability to really drill down and get more information on what I'm interested in. I don't have to ask someone for that information. I can drill down on it right here. And I found that Power BI is pretty easy for users to use. It takes a little learning to figure out what the different components are, but once they've learned it, they've got a strong ability to look at the data, analyze it, and make use of it. So this is a typical drill through. Go back and look at the original report. We can select different items. We can use these filters on our right-hand side to look at exactly what we want. We can easily download this report into Excel. We can even push it to PowerPoint. So it makes it easy not only to analyze the data, but make further use of it if you want to. Let's look at this one. This is a purchases by vendor. So I want to look at, well, who do I buy the chairs from? I can click on that. It shows all these vendors from whom I buy chairs. And I can see the chairs right here. I can see the vendors as well. What I can also do is I can pop this out to a separate screen. Let's do that. And I can easily export it here to PowerPoint or Excel, or even a PDF document that I can share with others. And after I pop out to the special report, I can always go back to the main report. We got all the information that we started with. Let's look at two more reports. This is basically the same information. Purchases by location. You can see the locations here. I'm going to drill up, get a more summarized view of this. Now I can see all locations. I can drill down on any one that I want to. There's a lot in the main warehouse. Let's drill down on that. Opens it up here to the different items. And again, I can drill back and see more detail on this. If I do a drill through, I can see from whom I purchased this item. You can see that right here. I get more information, some more KPIs about this particular purchase. So again, this allows me to be as detailed as I want to be. All this data is available through Power BI. Let's take a look at one more report. And this is actual versus budget. So you can actually put purchase budgets in Business Central. You can put sales budgets by customer and item if you want to as well. So Business Central gives you a lot of ability to analyze data and then move that to a Power BI situation. And if you do that, then you've got a very strong reporting infrastructure. So we took a quick look at new Power BI reports being released by Microsoft for Business Central. This came out in the recent release of Business Central. We looked at how you can look at Power BI reports in Business Central as well as PowerBI.com. We looked at a number of reports there. I think if you have a chance to look at Power BI, you can easily download those reports into Business Central, get a good idea of what they are, and you can just use those on a daily basis as they are. But Microsoft is also releasing the design components of these reports. If you're ready to deploy Copilot in Microsoft 365, download our free guide with the link in our video description.